sometimes horns on their heads like the males do. Now you start to see this watering hole out on the left-hand side. They really like to take you all down by the watering hole because sometimes we are lucky enough to find a black rhino. So black rhinos are really hard to find these days. There are only about 5,000 left worldwide, and that is because they have been poached for their horns. Here we go. Looks like straight ahead of us over the cliffs. You can see one of these black rhinos over here on the left-hand side now. Should be able to get a spot where I can stop for y'all to get some. And actually, they're really large. They actually get to weigh about 3,000 pounds, and you can still charge about 35 miles per hour. Although, you know, that combined with their super thick hide does mean that black rhinos are pretty much indestructible, except at the hands of humans. It's their biggest worry down here. Okay, well, we have had a lot of great luck so far. I really hope that continues a lot, because I'm going to switch things up in just a moment. As we head out of the forest, we take a quick look over here on your left. See some black and white birds called saddle-billed storks. Your tallest stork being after about 5 feet tall. But with that, we are heading over towards the Stockton River. Just before we left for the safari a couple days ago, some of the wardens were saying that they can see a lot of hippos out by the river here. So I definitely want to go check that out for ourselves. Hippos spend a lot of time in the water. Here you go, you see one over here on the right-hand side. Water helps make sure they don't overheat. So we are going to head out just around the river bend at this point. Wow, take a look behind the first island. There are a couple hippos back there. Also on top of the island, those are some pink-backed pelicans. During the mating season, they do develop a pinkish color along their back. They're kind of hidden by their wings right now. I'm going to pull forward and stop right in between the two islands. You see this bloat of hippos. Oh wow! See, a lot of those hippos aren't completely underwater. Some of them include their noses. That's okay though, because hold their breath about 8 minutes at a time. They're really large. They can weigh about 5,500 pounds. They can still swim pretty well. Well, you know, since they are so heavy, they are also able to just sink and then walk along the bottom of the river. Just to come forward here, this is Croc Bridge, so I'm going to go ahead and say make sure you all stay seated. And out on the left, you should be able to see some Nile crocodiles. They can get to 18 to 20 feet long, and their jaws can snatch out about 2,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. Enough to crash straight through our boats. So if you all don't mind, we're going to head out of here. Start to leave the forest and river environment behind us, head on over towards the savannah. Now, I guess you could say Savannah is sort of like a whole new world. There are a lot of different plants and animals out here, so we'll be spending at least a week traveling around and trying to find as much as possible. Alright, take a look on your right-hand side here. This is a baobab tree, also known as the upside-down tree. But it is just because they go completely leafless about 9 months out of the year, so it kind of look like they've been planted the wrong way up. Well, I definitely think you should get ready for this one though, because I think this is the absolute best view out over the entire reserve. Getting your first glimpses out over the Serengeti grasslands. Now, we're going to be spending quite a bit of time out here. That's because they do span hundreds of miles across East Africa. They are home to millions of animals and does even serve as a sort of natural superhighway. A lot of the animals will cross it every year, really large migrations. Well, the grasslands are even home to some of the more famous African animals, including giraffes and elephants, as well as cheetahs and lions. With so many important animals living out here, this whole area definitely is part of wild Africa. We are working so hard to try and preserve these days. Take a look at this over here on the left. It's a really great view of a Patterson's eland. Now, the eland is the largest antelope in Africa. The males could get to be about 6 feet tall and even weigh 2,000 pounds. So as we continue along, there are signs of animals all around us. From the fallen trees on the ground that were knocked over by elephants to the treetops that have had their leaves trimmed out by giraffes. They're pretty cool. The giraffes just want to eat the leaves way up there, but by doing so, they do trim out those upper canopy layers. That allows more light to filter through the treetops and reach the grass below. Definitely make sure there is enough grass for all the large grazing animals to eat. That includes these sable antelope you see over here on the left-hand side. You see the younger ones with the shorter horns do have a lighter color coat, and then the darkest one in the herd is the most dominant. Alright, well, I'm sure you all have also noticed these tall cones of earth on either side of us. They are termite mounds. They are made by termites. I'm actually just made out of the dirt in the area. But the thing is, they bake out in the sun all day long. They get to be rock hard. And apparently, it makes for a pretty good scratching post for some elephants. Although, as you can imagine, with an elephant rubbing up against a termite mound time and time again, they do tend to wear down with time. And then they get kind of rounded over and they're rotated away. But the really cool thing out here in the savannah is that even a worn down termite mound can be reused by other animals. So, for instance, a gazelle may come stand on top of it, use it like a lookout point, just to make sure there's nothing really scary hiding in all the tall grass. And if they do see something, it gives them a bit of a head start in running away. Wow. Take a look along the hillside to your right. Some of you already saw it. There is a giraffe way up along there, as well as some Angola cattle. So we are going to make our way forward here. Get a little bit closer to the hillside for you. But as we do so, take a look on your left underneath the bush here. You can see some white bearded wildebeest. Now, they're doing the smart thing and hiding back in the shade. But if you look carefully, you can kind of notice how it looks like they have white beards underneath their chins. I'm going to pull around and stop in just a moment here so you all can look at the giraffe as well as the Angola cattle. They are the ones with the 6-foot-long horns way in the back there. Don't worry though, the horns are hollow on the inside, so they're really not that heavy. Then just kind of around the lone palm tree, you could even see some springbuck. There's the really small animals hanging around. The springbuck only gets to be about 3 feet tall. By contrast to the giraffes, you can see another one underneath the palm trees here. And the one in the palm trees does have a very large sort of net-like pattern on its coat, which lets us know it is a reticulated giraffe. They get their name from the Latin word for net, reticulata. The second type of giraffe we have in Harambe is the Maasai giraffe. This one coming around the bend here, walking off to the right. But the Maasai giraffe is known for a much more irregular pattern on its coat. Alright, so as we continue along, I do want to start to make our way out towards the elephant country, and as we do so, we are also going to be passing by an area called Monkey Point. It's just past the large rocks here on the left. It is named for a troop of bears or monkeys who can sometimes be seen hanging out around the rocks or back up in the trees here. Looks like you just see some of them. Looks like there's one bouncing around in the branches. There's another one heading down the hillside by the larger bushes. So I'm going to pull forward in a moment and stop for you all to get some pictures. Now the dominant male does have the bright blue and red markings, if you can see him out here. But we're going to continue forward now and head off towards the red clay pits. This is usually our best bet of trying to find some elephants. Anyway, if we're lucky enough to find a herd of elephants, just keep in mind those are the females and their calves. the elephants to stay with their mothers about 13 to 15 years. And then at that point, the full-grown males are going to leave the herds and go off to live by themselves for the rest of their lives. The full-grown males are very solitary animals, who just kind of wander around from place to place. Now, unfortunately, elephants are facing a lot of problems with people living and working a lot closer to where the elephants live. It causes us to come into contact with them a lot more often. It's one of the leading reasons why they are so endangered. But like I said, red clay pits, they're actually just across this really old-looking bridge. You know, and how bad could it be, right? I am just going to make sure I drive slowly or slowly across it. Alright, well, it looks like the good news is I've made it across. So let's get the rest of you across as well. You know what, I think we're going to find another way back here. Alright, well, the good news is coming around the corner, you can start to see the red clay pits I've been powdered. This is a great sign. There are tusk marks carving out the clay. It looks like there are some really fresh ones over here on the right. Hopefully they'll still be in the area. Wow, like take a look out there on the left with a couple of elephants. Now all throughout this area we do scientists working to study the elephants and their vocalization, trying to learn as much as possible about how they communicate and interact with each other. And we're hoping that with time we can learn different techniques to use to better protect the elephants. You know, though, in the meantime, I think we might be in the area of one of the local villages, so we might be in range of the radio stations. If you give me a moment here, I'm going to fiddle around, see if I can maybe get some music on for a little bit. So we are coming around some greater flamingos out on the left. Largest of all the flamingo species, but they do have a really light pink color. Recently. Unfortunately, white That is a crash of rhinos. That's what you call a group. Far end of the rocks. Even be a female there as well. Away for some pictures.
Right, they can just jump over. We can't see. They're hiding, of course. They're hiding now. It's sudden.
Make sure you stay seated, please. Here we go. That's a great view. I'm going to stop in just a moment. You can see the female. She's lying really flat to the ground. Alright, so we're going to continue around the rocks. Actually, there are two females out there. And if you switch over and look on your right, you see a white and tan antelope called the scimitar horned oryx. Back behind them, those dark brown ones are called bontebok. Now the lions, as you can see, just spend most of their time lying around the rocks here. They are waiting until nightfall and are actually completely inactive about 18 to 20 hours out of the day. See, she flopped back down for a little cat nap. But once night falls, it is the females who head out to do the hunting for the prey. Alright, well over here on the left, you can look on top of the hill. Right at the base of the tree, you can see a warthog. He's sleeping facing away from us, so you can't really see its tusks. You can definitely see these large holes it's dug out. The warthog is the largest burrowing animal in the world. I'm going to pull down a little bit farther by the eggs over here on the left-hand side. They are ostrich eggs. Largest egg in the world at about... I'm definitely going to continue around because it looks like there are some zebras. They're going to be over here on the right-hand side. Now, look carefully. You know, a lot of people wonder, are they black with white stripes or white with black stripes? I'll give you a moment to look at them. So there's actually an answer.
Is that an ostrich?
Now the trick is to look at the nose of the zebras. They're down eating the grass there, but you can kind of notice they do have black noses. So it does mean they are black with white stripes. This third one's hanging out around the ostriches out on the right. Ostriches are the largest birds in the world. Actually, they're so large they're able to fly. It's too heavy to get off the ground. Well, as we pull forward here, you can start to see one of the newest portions of the reserve. So all out here in Harambe, we'd like to add land as much as possible to expand our territories. That allows us to introduce new animals to the protection of the reserve, and that does include these addax up on top of the hill to your left. Now the addax is a member of the screwhorn family of antelopes. Look carefully. You see they have this characteristic spiral shape to their horns. See the one lying in the grass close to us? Unfortunately, they are endangered. There are only about 500 of them left in Africa. So we are using the land here in Harambe to help reintroduce the addax and other endangered animals like them to their natural habitats. Unfortunately, one of the biggest problems faced by the animals in Africa today is human encroachment. So as people expand and take up more and more land, it does take land away from where these animals are used to living. So one of the goals of safaris like this is to take you all through these areas Gets you pretty close.